Friday night. Well, it's not Friday night yet. It's Friday morning, which means Friday night typically follows. I got an interesting question that I posted on my X feed, formerly Twitter. What were you doing on a Friday night in April 1988? You remember what would you have been doing on a Friday night in 1988? Great. I love those questions when I post those. Makes you think, makes you do the math. Sometimes hard. I missed the update yesterday, guys. Again, I'm thinking of changing the name of this to the semi-daily update. Good thing I'm my own boss, right? I I missed one piece of news yesterday, not being here to talk about, and that's the death of one Orenthal James Simpson, the Juice. O.J. Simpson, the Juice, is no longer on the loose. You know, in the 70s, kid my age, I had a huge O.J. Simpson poster on my wall. I'd buy a Scholastic book about O.J. I had the O.J. action figure with the removable helmet. I mean, I was all in on the Juice. And I think we were all shocked, sad, and dismayed by his downfall. And now he's dead. So, I mean, to many of us, he was dead to us many years ago. Some people still, thought he was innocent. Here's what's interesting is, and I know this has nothing to do with classic rock, but I've already seen 2 different articles about people coming forward that had to sign non-disclosure agreements about his entanglements when he was still at University of Southern California, still at USC. Apparently there was a history of violence and abuse and that people were kind of not allowed to talk about. I say not allowed. What typically happens is someone pays them enough money that they don't say anything. And now that the Juice is no longer on the loose, they can start talking about those things. And there's all kinds of things coming up and it's shocking. Anyways, sad because the Juice was always a big hero of mine back in the day. Let's talk about better and brighter things. So this Jimmy Buffett tribute happened last night. And guess who's the MC? Dave Grohl. I mean, he's like there cannot be a concert without him being there. And I like the guy. I think he has a future as a concert MC dude. I mean, it doesn't matter who it is. Did he even know Jimmy Buffett? I don't know. Maybe he did. But he was MCing it. But anyways, there have been a number of these over the years, just historic performances where it was very cool. One was when Hart does Stairway to Heaven at the Kennedy Honors here a few years ago. That's just super awesome. Well, here's another awesome one that happened last night. How about this? Paul McCartney performing Let It Be, and the backing band is the Eagles. I mean, it's really cool. And you can tell, I mean, the Eagles are usually, they're the upper echelon, the upper crust. And even these guys look like they're like in awe playing with Sir Paul McCartney. It's pretty cool. I mean, if you're Joe Walsh, if you're Vince Gill, if you're Don Henley, and you're playing with Paul McCartney, it's pretty cool. So you got to go, even if you're not a Beatles fan, whatever, it's historical, right? To see them playing, Paul McCartney playing Let It Be with the Eagles is just, it's pretty cool. And you should go check that out. Scorpions, my favorite band from Germany. They kicked off their 2024 Love at First Sting Las Vegas residency last night. So they're doing this residency. I don't remember how long. They're going to be there for a couple weeks or whatever. 8 of the 9 songs were from Love at First Sting. Wow. 8 of the 9 songs from their multi-platinum breakthrough. Wow. So they did 8 of the songs from Love at First Sting. That's a great album, but that's not my favorite Scorpions album. Everyone knows their best album is Blackout. Just saying. But that's great. Musically, they still sound really good. Klaus's voice, the dude's like 104, right? His voice, he still can sing, but it's a lot softer. It doesn't have the intensity uh, that it used to. And he can't run around too much because his hat will fall off, and then you see his Gollum hair, right? So he's got to be careful. But I'd go see him in a heartbeat. Seriously. This is kind of cool. A campaign is underway for a New York City street to be named after Kiss, because there's not enough Kiss merchandising going on. Local officials announced that a public meeting will discuss the possibility of retitling West 23rd Street and 8th Avenue as a way of honoring the retired band. Now, those in the know will know that that's the corner. That's where they posed for the Dress to Kill cover, the famous iconic cover of them in suits, right? That's where it happened. So there's going to be an event held on April 17th at the MCB4 office. That's the Manhattan Community Board number 4 office. Interested parties can also sign up to attend virtually via Zoom. So there's going to be the community meeting where people will be, yeah, let's do it, or no, I hate Kiss, don't do it. So they're going to have one of those. But there could be, and I'm assuming they'll call it what, Kiss Place or Kiss Boulevard or Kiss Way. I don't know what they'll call it, but it will be named after Kiss. One of the things that we talk about a lot, guys, and I mean, we have to, because our classic rock heroes are getting old, and they are, in fact, croaking. So oftentimes you have to replace original members. And, I mentioned Foreigner on a tour now, no original members. Most bands that tour now, they don't have all the original members because people die and they leave. So I get that. That's a part of life. Well, Burton Cummings was the founding singer and songwriter of the Guess Who. He, of course, paired with the great, what's his name? Randy Bachman, right? Who was also in Guess Who. Well, Burton Cummings has taken an extraordinary measure to stop the band's current iteration from performing his songs. So there's this Guess Who that's out touring. And here's what makes it ironic, guys. Rudy Sarzo, I don't think he's in them that, but he was like on one or two of the albums. So Rudy Sarzo has been in like 50 bands, and one of them was the Guess Who. Who knew? But yeah, Rudy Sarzo was in the Guess Who for at least one album. So the album that came out about, it's probably been 3 or 4 years ago, they got this Robin Zander lookalike, sound-alike dude who's really good. He's really good. And this Guess Who album is really good. I like the album. It stands on its own. It's a great album. However, they're calling themselves the Guess Who, which means when you go out on tour, what music are you playing? You're playing the Guess Who. So people buying tickets are expecting to hear These Eyes, which sucks anyways. But there are some good, great Guess Who song. These Eyes kind of blows. But my point is, and this is Burton's point, okay? You guys might legally be able to call yourself the Guess Who, but that don't mean you're going to sing my songs. So imagine this. You go to see this band calling themselves the Guess Who, and guess what? They can't play any Guess Who songs. That would suck. So here's my advice for this band calling themselves. It does feature the original drummer, by the way. So at least there's one original member. But Burton Cummings and Randy Bachman wrote all the songs. So there's a situation here where the Guess Who, the current incarnation of the Guess Who, can't in fact perform Guess Who music. What you gonna do? Well, here's the thing. Just start your own band. You got this singer, the guy's talented. Again, looks and sounds just like Robin Zander, which is not a bad thing, Maybe they can do something. But the draw was that they were Guess Who, and so you'd go and see them play the classic Guess Who songs, but their new stuff is pretty good. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? But see, so but this is the interesting little thing is, and Burton Cummings is aware of this, right? He's actually costing himself money to do this. Because the way it works, any live venue, even a club, radio stations, anytime you hear music performed, to be legal, right? Those venues pay fees, ASCAP, BMI, for the publishers, right? That's how songwriters get paid, is for their music gets played on the radio, on TV, in a live venue, whatever. Those places all pay ASCAP and BMI fees. When I worked in radio, once a year for like 2 days, this is how old I was. This is back 86, 87. We literally rolled a typewriter in to the control room. This was before, computers existed, but no one used computers back then, right? So we literally had BMI logs in the typewriter, and in between intro and the song, we'd have to type in the name of the song and the songwriters and everything. There was a whole little thing that we would fill out. Well, now, of course, you just spit out a report that you send to BMI, and they do that like once a year, and that's how they pay the songwriters. And on the internet's greatest radio station, Classic Guitar Rock Radio, we have to pay for a license. So we part of the cost of running a radio station, even on the internet, is you have to have a BMI, ASCAP, Sound Exchange, whatever governing body the publishers are affiliated with. You have to pay fees in order for you to play those music. And then like once a quarter or whatever, the platform that I'm on, which is the Live 365 platform, they are able to then pay those fees. That's, of course, baked into the cost of running a radio station. So by Cummings saying, hey, you guys can't play my music, that means he's not making money from those BMI, ASCAP, the publisher's fees. He's not making money. So he knows it's costing him money, but he's making a stand that, hey, you guys have nothing to do with these songs. Yes, legally you're called the Guess Who, but I'm not going to let you perform my songs. What you gonna do? Okay. Interesting. Remember, we've talked about many bands accused of using backing tracks, Motley Crue, Kiss, all these accusations. And there's irrefutable evidence, when the guy's like 8 feet away from the mic and you hear him singing. Well, yeah, that's pretty much a sign that he's lip syncing. Well, someone said something about Def Leppard using backing tracks, and Joe Elliott took umbrage with that. This is from Ultimate Classic Rock. Def Leppard frontman Joe Elliott has defended his band against accusations they use backing tracks during their concerts. During a conversation with Stereo Gum, I don't know what that is, the singer addressed rumors that Def Leppard's performances are technologically enhanced. He says, quote, I don't normally comment on this kind of stuff, but a friend of mine just sent me some link to something on YouTube. A recent posting by, forgive me, I don't know his name, Chuck something from Testament, I think it is, and Chris Holmes accusing us of using backing tracks. He continues, I don't get angry at this. I'm flattered because their standards must be very different to ours. For anybody that thinks we use backing tracks, it must mean that when they hear us, they can't believe how good it is for real. End quote. We don't use backing tracks. We use effects. God, who wouldn't? When there's 4 people singing, we use effects. There's no tapes of backing vocals. And what he's talking about is there are and every performer uses effects, right? Whether it's a delay or a compression, everything is processed, right? So yeah, I get that. Now, auto correction. Is that what it's called? The auto correction, the you know what I'm talking about. Is that an effect, or is that so here's the thing. I'm defending Def Leppard here because, and here's one thing they do a lot of. They will post on YouTube just the guys in a dressing room singing, and they sound phenomenal live. They do. Their backing vocals are spot on. They are one of the best. They're up there with like Styx and the Eagles, I think, in terms of their harmonies and their background vocals. They sound really good. So yeah, his point is, yeah, we use effects. And he even says this. He says, we use keyboards, so they have some canned keyboard parts. We use a few drum loops because, in fairness, two-armed drummers use drum loops. But Rick Allen, to play a song like Rocket, it's a cacophony of toms that one arm couldn't play. So yeah, we use a triggered loop, which is part of his drum kit. But Larry Mullen's been doing that for years. So have thousands of other drummers to enhance the sound. But backing tracks or playing along to a backing track, we've never done that. Never. We've never mimed to the vocals, or we've never had multiples of stuff on tape. It's literally live. He said he would be happy to invite any Def Leppard doubters to come stand side stage with a pair of headphones on so they could actually hear what's coming out of the stage. So it's live. Yeah. And yeah, every perform, I mean, no one gets up there with just a mic going into the PA, right? There is always effects. There is, various things, processors, delays, compressors. Yeah. I mean, that's part of the program. But his point is, when I'm singing, I'm really singing. And he is, you can tell, right? When you hear the background vocals and the harmonies, that's really us. Good for you, Joe. Okay. I'm seeing them in September, by the way. Looking forward to it. Alex Lifeson, one of my favorite guitar players. I think underrated. I think he's one of the top 5 best rock guitarists ever. I really do. I think he's in that echelon. No one sounds like Alex Lifeson. He is one of the most unique players in my mind. Love the guy. Well, guess what? He appears as a guest on a brand new song by the prog rock trio Trifecta. He plays on the song Once Around the Sun with You, and it will be released today, April 12th. Their album, The New Normal, will be released today. Once Around the Sun with You is an anniversary song written for my wife in commemoration of all the years she's put up with me, says bassist and singer Nick Beggs. Need I say more? The woman is a saint. So they got Alex to play on it. Good for Alex. Alex is, there's not going to be a Rush. Well, there couldn't really be a Rush reunion, but you remember for a while, a year ago, there was all this speculation that Geddy and Alex would do. It ain't going to happen. I mean, Alex says, I don't want to tour again. I mean, he'll do stuff like this. He'll appear on an album. He might do a one-off live performance somewhere, but why would he? I mean, he's what? How old? 70? I don't know. He's retired. He's a grandpa. He's made lots of money. So Alex, I just want you to be happy. I just want you to be happy. From the lock up the dirt bag and throw away the key file, there's this. I hate stuff like this. According to BBC News, founding Saxon bassist Stephen Dawson has been jailed for repeatedly abusing a 6-year-old girl in the 90s. What a piece of filth. Anyways, I won't go into the details. He was fired from Saxon back in 85. I don't know what that was all about. But you're going to get caught, right? Creepers, you're going to get caught. And he's getting caught. So, I mean, that's from the 90s. And they've gone back, found evidence, testimony from the victim, who is, of course, an adult now. But abusing a 6-year-old, sicko. Well, hey, on that sad note, I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in. And just a plug for the radio station tonight on the radio station, midnight Eastern time. It's the Classic Metal Vault. Okay. This is a weekly show. It's metal. Dude, it is metal. This is full on metal. Host Rich Hanna, friend of mine, big time metalhead. I like metal, but this is really metal. So I said, okay, Rich, you go crazy. Molten Metal Madness. I mean, it's going to happen tonight on the radio station. Check out my link. I got links all over on X. You can even just Google classic guitar rock radio. You'll find it, right? But 9 o'clock Pacific, midnight Eastern. Did I say 9 Eastern? No, I meant midnight Eastern, 9 o'clock Pacific. It's the Classic Metal Vault with Rich Hanna on the Classic Guitar Rock Radio Network. You got to check it out. And Marlon slid in under the wire to say hello. Marlon, thank you so much. Always appreciate your support, my brother. And I wish you have a great weekend. And I hope all of you have a great weekend. Thank you so much for all your support, for following us, for listening to the station, for everything you do. I super appreciate it. Live long and prosper. We'll do it all again.